All right, let's talk about a piece of tech you're probably using right now without even knowing it. It's called Power over Ethernet, or PoE for short.
From the security cameras you see everywhere to the Wi Fi access points hanging in office ceilings, PoE is this kind of unsung hero. It just quietly makes our lives easier by sending both power and our data through one single cable.
But here's the thing, as simple as it sounds, there are a few hidden traps. And if you make one very, very common mistake, it's not just that your device won't work. It could mean it gets fried and never works again.
So let me ask you, do you actually know what you're plugging in? Because understanding the difference between safe, smart power and risky, dumb power is everything. Let's get into it.
Okay, first things first, let's look at the basic magic of PoE. It's really all about getting one little cable to pull double duty, handling both power and data at the same time. And this right here shows you exactly why PoE became such a huge deal. I mean, think about the old way. To install a network camera, you had to run a network cable for the data, and you had to get an electrician to run a separate power line. It was a whole thing. PoE just completely changed the game, combining them into one cable and pretty much cutting the hassle in half.
So when you boil it all down, Power over Ethernet is just the official, standardized way to send DC voltage right through the same little copper wires that are already carrying all your internet data. It's just a simple, super elegant, and crazy effective solution.
But it's not quite as simple as just plugging anything into anything. See, as our gadgets got more and more power hungry, the technology had to keep up. And that means not all PoE is created equal. Now, this is really the key. The easiest way to think about these three standards is like small, medium, and large. The original standard PoE gives you about 15 watts, which is perfect for something simple like an IP phone. Then you've got PoE Plus, which is your medium. It doubles the power to 30 watts for things like security cameras that can pan and zoom. And then high PoE is the large, the heavyweight, pushing 60 to 100 watts for those huge outdoor cameras that need heaters to keep from freezing. You've got to match the power source to the device. And that brings us to the most important rule here. It's downward compatible. So a more powerful switch, say a PoE Plus one, is smart. It can totally power a less demanding device. It'll just give it the 15 watts it's asking for, no problem. But you cannot go the other way. If you plug a 30-watt camera into a little 15-watt switch, it just won't have enough juice. It'll get stuck in this super frustrating loop of trying to boot up, failing, and trying again forever. And, that leads us right to the single biggest, most expensive mistake that people make when they're designing a PoE system. I like to call it the hidden budget trap.
Okay, so here's the trap. You go out and buy a switch, and right there on the box it says 24-port PoE Plus. So you'd naturally think, great, I can power 24 of my PoE Plus devices with this thing. I mean, it makes total sense, right?
Yeah, that is completely and totally wrong. And trust me, that one little assumption has cost people thousands of dollars and just endless hours of headaches trying to figure out what went wrong.
And here's why. Every single switch has this other number on its spec sheet, and it's way more important than what each port can do. It's called the total PoE budget. Think of it as the total amount of power the switch's power supply can deliver across all of its ports all at once. Let's use a real-world example. You might have a popular 24-port PoE Plus switch that has a total budget of only 190 watts. But if you plug in 24 cameras that each need 15 watts, well, you do the math, that's 360 watts you're asking for. The switch just can't do it. It'll power up the first 12 or 13 devices, and then it'll just stop. It's literally out of juice. So here's what you do. Before you buy anything, you do the math. It's really just two simple steps. First, add up the maximum power draw for every single device you're planning to plug in. Second, make sure that grand total is less than the switch's total PoE budget. Honestly, I'd even recommend leaving about a 20% buffer just to be safe. You don't want your power supply running at 100% all the time. Okay, so you've matched your power levels, you've calculated your total budget, you're all good now, right? And not quite. We need to talk about the most dangerous part of the PoE world. The huge difference between smart power and dumb power.
So all the official PoE standards we've talked about, they're what's called active PoE. They're smart. When you plug something in, the switch and the device have a little digital handshake. The switch asks, hey, are you a PoE device? And if it gets the right answer, boom, it sends the power. But if you plug in your laptop, which doesn't know the handshake, the switch sends no power at all. It's totally safe. Now, passive PoE is the opposite. It's dumb. It doesn't ask any questions. It just sends a constant voltage down that cable, 24/7, no matter what's on the other end.
So what happens when you plug a device that is not expecting that voltage, like your very expensive laptop, into one of those passive ports? Well, as the engineers joke, you will release the magic smoke. That's that little pus you see when a computer chip fries itself. And the thing about the magic smoke is, once you let it out, you can never, ever put it back in. Your device is toast. Okay, phew. We have covered the good, the bad, and the ugly of power over Ethernet. So let's just boil it all down into a few simple pro tips to make sure you get this right every single time.
Here are the 3 golden rules you absolutely have to remember. 1. Match the standard. If you have a PoE Plus camera, you need a PoE Plus switch. Simple. 2. Always, and I mean always, check the total PoE budget. Don't just look at the port count. And 3. Be extremely careful with passive PoE. Honestly, unless you are 100% positive your device is made for it, just stay away.
And hey, one last little pro tip for you. Standard PoE has a hard limit. You can only run it about 100 meters, or 328 feet. If you go any farther than that, the signal gets weak and the power drops off. If you need to go a longer distance, you'll need to get special gear, like a PoE extender.
And that's really it. That's power over Ethernet in a nutshell. It is an amazing technology that gives you so much simplicity and power, but only if you play by the rules. So now that you know how to avoid the traps and build a system that actually works, what are you going to go power up? Thanks for joining me.